Hey, welcome everybody to our podcast, Trade Genius. I'm Bob. Phil's on the other side there, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about California. And Phil's so disgusted with this topic that he doesn't even want to do it. So stay tuned and enjoy it.
It
Right?
has nice weather
Yeah.
in the south. All right, let's dive in.
Trade Junior.
All right, Bob. So I know you dug up some stats here, pretty interesting stuff. So first one up here is this GDP of California. It looks pretty impressive. So tell us about this.
Yeah, the reason why I brought this one out is just look where California gets their basically their economic activity from, and I'm most interested in the fire area there. This is basically finance, insurance, and real estate. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention here of late, but California real estate has gone into a deep freeze, and I don't mean like prices are falling yet, although they're starting to here and there. It's just that nobody's buying and nobody's selling. And now we're also getting a bit of a rent uh, glut, if you will, in apartments, especially at the higher end. And this will California gets 30% plus of their GDP from this industry group, and it's in big trouble. And so I want to throw that out to you guys. So pay attention to that because California went from a $100 billion surplus projection to now a $25 billion loss last year because of their absolute dependence on real estate and high end real estate at that. So flipping to the next chart. So the population is shrinking on top of it. So when you're a debt based economy, you need more people, to keep the Ponzi going, right? So California lost 300,000 people, and this is the third year in a row they lost population. And the only people that are actually coming into the state right now are we allowed to say illegal immigrants? Uh, they are the non-documented future citizens of our country. So that's what's pouring into California. So we're losing people that are retiring. And one of the things that does frost my hide, though, Phil, is that the people who work for the state and the cities and the first responders, they collect juicy pensions. And what's the first thing they do once they retire? They beat feet out of the state. So they're collecting all this money and they're not paying into it anymore, and they're enjoying these super huge pensions. Moving to places like Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, just getting the heck out of California. And so we're losing people that have money to spend here, and we're gaining people that need more and more of the services. And so it's going to create another mismatch where we're going to have even higher need for government money at the same time that the people who provide for the government's money are leaving. And that brings me to the third problem California has is they get their revenue primarily from, we were probably the most mismatched, probably New York and Chicago, Illinois are probably alongside of us, but they get most of their tax revenue from the very very top people. They have a very progressive tax rate, but not just for income. They have it for cap gains. They have it for dividends. They really stack the deck in favor of really soaking the rich here in California. Well, if you don't have cap gains, you don't have cap gains tax revenue. If you don't have dividends, you don't have dividend revenue. And if you have people that are collecting these things and they're older and they're moving their money out of the state, this becomes a triple whammy. And so I think it's going to become more and more problematic here. I guarantee you Gavin Newsom's going to beat feet to try to become president and try to get out before this thing collapses on him. But, we're in trouble here in California. And I think you're going to see probably crazier and crazier laws. And it's going to force more and more people out of here probably over the next couple of years. So, I know those who think California is evil personified. It's time for you to gloat. And if people that have to live here and still think that their evil persona is that we're going to be in for a rough ride here. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. I think this is secular. This is not a cyclical thing. I think Real estate, as we talked about before, in my view, is this is not a 1 year event. I think the stock market's the same thing. Demographics are going to cause problems with stock market, and then you have the high tech. We just talked about yesterday. We just talked about Google, right? High tech's going to be crippled here in the state because bad policies, number one, but number two, people can't afford to live here still that want to live here, and corporations are moving those employment bases out of the state. So we're just in for a rough ride for the next couple of years.
So Bob, real quick before we go, if let's say someone lives in California, they're on the fence about leaving, and they decide, well, after hearing this, it's like I'm just going to sell my house before the market really tanks. But I like the weather, and there's a lot of things about California I like. And there's so where, if you did say I'm going to spend a few years outside of California, but eventually I want to get back in there, maybe retire there later, like where do you see that, where things, money talks, right? So policies will change dependent on the tax revenues and things like that. Where do you see this maybe rebounding, where things are kind of on the upswing again?
Yeah, I would say we're probably looking at 4 or 5 years here,
Okay.
Phil, because there are people. Look, I'm not leaving. I have no intention of leaving. How's that? And because of the weather, so I think we're going to see is basically. I saw this really cool chart of California. It said you're basically, if you're west of 5, okay, and then when you obviously get up to Northern California, basically west of the 101, that's where you want to live. If you're between the 101 and the Central Valley, they call it meth country. And then if you get east of that, is people can't even afford meth. So I think we're going to see a striation here where the coastals will probably stay fairly benign, but a lot of the base will move out, and yeah, and it will swing. You'll see, Phil. We already kicked out Democratic governor before when they screwed up the utilities. And I think the Hispanic, it's going to be the rise of the Hispanic voter probably in the next couple of years. And look, they want to build their futures here, and I think they're going to probably reject woke politics, and so I think we'll probably get some sort of a pendulum swing, maybe after the next federal election, when I think things get bad enough that people will be paying attention and they're going to bail out. Remember, this time too is that with the House going Republican, California is going to lose some influence too. So I would say 4 or 5 years, Phil.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, we hope you found that episode helpful. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. It really helps out our channel. Also, hit that notification bell and get notified when we release a new video, which is about 6 times a week these days. So thanks so much for watching our videos and your continued support, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Trade Genius.